long have you been in Hollywood?
Well, it's about a month now.
We haven't put anyone on our books for over 2 years.
Guest of honor. I was instructed to pay immediately.
You go away for a few days and the whole thing will blow over.
Old Hollywood is often remembered for its glitz, glamour, and the larger-than-life stars who became household names. But behind the scenes, beneath the bright lights and red carpets, there was a much darker undercurrent, a place where unchecked power, abuse, and exploitation were all too common. The entertainment industry of the early 20th century was a breeding ground for some of the most nefarious behavior, with many powerful figures using their influence to manipulate and mistreat those under their control. Today, we're diving deep into the sinister side of Hollywood's golden age, uncovering the chilling stories of the most evil abusers whose actions left an indelible mark on the industry. Louis B. Mayer. Louis B. Mayer, the co-founder of MGM, was one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. Known as the Lion of Hollywood, Mayer had the ability to make or break careers with a single word. He ruled his studio with an iron fist, and his manipulation of young actresses became the stuff of legend. Mayer preyed on the vulnerabilities of his stars, using psychological tactics to control and intimidate them. Judy Garland, one of MGM's biggest stars, was one of his most tragic victims. Mayer reportedly controlled every aspect of her life, driving her to a downward spiral that ultimately contributed to her untimely death. His behavior exemplified the dark side of the Hollywood studio system, where power was often wielded without conscience or consequence. Harry Cohn. As the head of Columbia Pictures, Harry Cohn was one of the most feared men in Hollywood. Known for his explosive temper and ruthless business tactics, Cohn was a tyrant who ruled his studio with an unyielding grip. But it was his treatment of actresses that truly cemented his reputation as one of Hollywood's most notorious figures. Cohn was infamous for demanding sexual favors from aspiring starlets in exchange for roles, and those who refused often found their careers mysteriously stalled. Rita Hayworth, one of Columbia's biggest stars, was subjected to years of harassment and exploitation at Cohn's hands. His actions left a trail of broken dreams and shattered lives, and his legacy is forever tainted by the suffering he inflicted on others. Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, is revered as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. But behind the camera, Hitchcock harbored a dark obsession with his leading ladies. Tippi Hedren, the star of The Birds and Marnie, became the focus of Hitchcock's disturbing behavior. He reportedly subjected Hedren to relentless harassment, controlling every aspect of her career and personal life. Hitchcock's obsession with Hedren went beyond professional boundaries, and his attempts to manipulate and dominate her led to a severe strain on her mental health. While Hitchcock's films continue to be celebrated, the troubling stories of his off-screen conduct reveal a much darker side to the legendary director. Jack Warner, one of the founders of Warner Brothers, was a man driven by power and profit. Known for his ruthless business practices, Warner's treatment of his stars was equally merciless. He was notorious for exploiting young actresses, using his position to coerce them into compromising situations. Warner's relentless pursuit of profit often came at the expense of the well-being of his talent, and many who worked under him found themselves trapped in a cycle of exploitation and abuse. His manipulation of stars like Bette Davis, whom he clashed with on multiple occasions, highlights the toxic environment that pervaded the Hollywood studio system during its golden age. Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire and aviation mogul, was one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. His obsession with young actresses was well documented, and he often used his wealth and influence to control their careers. Hughes's relationships with women like Jean Harlow and Jane Russell were marked by possessiveness and manipulation. He would sign actresses to exclusive contracts, only to lock them away from the world, effectively ending their careers if they refused his advances. Hughes's behavior was predatory, and his actions left a trail of damaged lives in his wake. While he is often remembered for his contributions to aviation and film, the dark side of his legacy cannot be ignored. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, the swashbuckling star of films like The Adventures of Robin Hood, was as notorious for his off-screen exploits as he was for his on-screen heroics. Flynn's hedonistic lifestyle was fueled by a reckless disregard for the law, and his reputation as a womanizer was well known. Accusations of statutory rape and other criminal behavior followed Flynn throughout his career, culminating in a highly publicized trial that nearly destroyed him. Although he was acquitted, the allegations against Flynn revealed a darker side to the charming star, one that was far removed from the heroic characters he portrayed on screen. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, the beloved silent film star, is often remembered for his iconic role as the tramp. But Chaplin's private life was far less endearing. His relationships with much younger women, including his teenage brides, were marked by manipulation and control. Chaplin's pursuit of underage girls and his ruthless treatment of those who crossed him, including his ex-wives, paint a disturbing picture of a man who was far from the lovable character he portrayed on screen. Despite his contributions to cinema, Chaplin's legacy is complicated by the troubling revelations about his private life. Rosco Fatty Arbuckle. Rosco Fatty Arbuckle was one of the most popular comedians of the silent film era until a scandal in 1921 brought his career crashing down. Arbuckle was accused of raping and causing the death of actress Virginia Rappe during a wild party. Although he was eventually acquitted, the public outcry destroyed his career and reputation. The case remains one of Hollywood's earliest and most infamous scandals, shedding light on the darker side of the entertainment industry and its stars. Arbuckle's fall from grace serves as a cautionary tale of how quickly fame can turn to infamy in Hollywood. Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby, the king of crooners, was one of America's most beloved entertainers. But behind his smooth voice and charming smile, Crosby was a strict and often cruel disciplinarian, especially towards his children. His son, Gary Crosby, wrote a tell-all book that exposed the emotional and physical abuse that he and his siblings endured at the hands of their father. Crosby's treatment of his family stands in stark contrast to the wholesome image he projected to the public, revealing a much darker side to the man who was once considered America's favorite singer. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando is often hailed as one of the greatest actors of all time, but his off-screen behavior was far less commendable. Brando's relationships were tumultuous and often abusive, with multiple partners accusing him of violence and emotional cruelty. His tumultuous marriage to Anna Koshfi was marked by physical altercations and public scandals. Brando's complex personality, while contributing to his on-screen brilliance, also made him a deeply troubled and, at times, abusive individual. His actions have left a lasting impact on those who knew him, casting a shadow over his celebrated career. The golden age of Hollywood was a time of immense creativity and innovation, but it was also a time of deep-seated corruption and abuse. The stories of these powerful figures serve as a reminder that the glamour and glitz of the silver screen often hid a much darker reality. As we celebrate the achievements of Hollywood's past, it's important to remember the pain and suffering that often went unnoticed, and to honor those who had the courage to speak out against the injustices of the industry.